Hello, I'm Graham Fitch, coming to you from Steinway Hall in London for Pianist magazine, and I'm going to be talking about pedalling, specifically the right pedal, the sustaining pedal, but I'm going to touch on, no pun intended, the left pedal as well. And hopefully the examples I'm going to show will show you that pedaling is an art, and it's not just a matter of is it up or is it down. There's all sorts of shades of grey, or shades of colour rather, in between the top of the pedal and the bottom of the pedal. And I have in front of me the Debussy prelude, The Girl with the Flaxen Hair, which starts off with a, excuse me, a single solitary D flat. Do I play that with pedal or do I not pedal it? Let me show you both ways. This is no pedal, quite pure. This is with pedal. Is there a difference? I feel there's a difference. It's a single note. What I'm finding myself doing already, because when you think about what the pedal does, the right pedal, it sustains notes that I can't join by the hand alone, but it also adds resonance to the sound. But I can also do that with my fingers. So I'm finding myself here not being too clean with my fingers, not this. That's ta-ta-ta, each one. But I want to blend a little bit. So I'm controlling the dampers here more by finger than by foot. But if we go to measure 5, we've got what I would call plain vanilla legato pedaling for each of these chords. Change, 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 change. I don't need to change there because the D flat belongs in the harmony, so that's one harmonic parcel, if you will. Now, I'm presented with a little problem here. At the end of bar 6, I'm going to give you a couple of solutions. I don't want a break in my line there, but it's impossible to play that with my left hand and that with my right hand as a together chord. And I don't really want to arpeggiate it, although I could. Trouble with arpeggiating that chord is it just draws too much attention to it. What I can do is to break it instead, either like that or like that. The choice is really mine. But in terms of the pedaling, I'm going to show you what I would do to solve this problem. A lot of people have a problem there. Now at this moment, I'm only holding onto the B flat in the top of the right hand. When I play my bass note, I change my pedal and keep my pedal down when I play the next chord. Let me walk you through that again. Change. Then I get a nice clean harmony, but with no break in the melodic line. Change here. Maybe I'll do these two notes without the pedal, since Debussy's left them floating. Now, ordinary legato. Change, change, change. Now here's an interesting situation. If I kept my pedal down, I get a smudge. So maybe I won't pedal this. I found myself lifting my pedal for those few notes. Now I can't pedal through this. Again, too smudgy. Now I notice that Debussy has indicated the fingers to hold on to these two notes by holding them down after I played them, which gives me enough resonance, I think. So I'm pedaling very discreetly in those bars. Now there comes an interesting place here, and be very careful of pedaling through that. We don't want to pedal through this. So now anybody who's played this piece has probably wondered what the heck to do in bar 13. We've got to sustain that bass note, but change the harmony. How do we do that? I'm going to let you into a kind of piano pedal secret, that we can do that by either a very quick pedal change. We can sustain that bass note, but lose the middle. Or I could do a little flutter pedaling. I'm going to just show you an experiment here. I'm going to play this G flat, and I'm going to change pedal once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. See, it's still there. I've changed pedal. I've lifted it all the way to the top. and put it back down again. It doesn't get rid of it very easily. Difficult to shift. But if I do that with this G flat, once, I change once and it's gone. So try this as an experiment. I'm going to create a dissonance, which you won't like, but I'm going to get rid of the dissonance. See what I did there? I just did one quick pedal change. It didn't touch that, but it got rid of this. So what that means is when I come to the beginning of bar 13, quick, and I'm going to show you how much of that's still left. What I did was I went and touched that note silently. Let me do that again. And you can hear that's still very much alive. I could also do it with a little vibration of my foot at this point, like a half pedal. Some people call that a flutter pedal. There's all sorts of different terminology for this. So you can see in that one example of Debussy quite a lot of fancy footwork. There's nothing simple about this piece. It looks fairly straightforward on the page, but it's almost a study in pedaling. Moving to another piece of Debussy, the Première Arabesque, the end of the first arabesque, the coda. Now, what I'm doing, let me just show you this. I've got a beautiful resonant Model D concert Steinway in front of me here, fantastic instrument. I'm going to put the pedal all the way down. You've got maximum resonance. Now I'm going to start lifting the pedal up. Okay, I'm starting to notice the resonance thinning out a bit. So I've now got partial resonance. So I need to just footmark that spot in the pedal, a little lower, and then I want the best of both worlds. I want clarity here, but I also want resonance. If I had my pedal all the way down, it would be a bit muddy and a bit thick, especially in this very boomy room. So what I've got there is, let's say this is the bottom of the pedal and this is the top of the pedal. I'm about here, but I'm adjusting it. I'm not stuck in one place. If I need to shrink the resonance down a bit, I find myself just vibrating my foot a little bit, and there's a real art in that. What I'm doing is controlling the damper by my foot. Let me just use another kind of graph here. Let's say that represents the string of the piano, and this is the damper. So when my pedal is up, the damper sits on the string. When I put my pedal down, the damper is raised, giving me this amount of resonating space, if you will. But if I have my pedal just so that it's only partially down, I've minimized the amount of resonance possibility I have. And that's great for this sort of thing, where I don't want full resonance. So here we've got the Fantasy Impromptu of Chopin, which starts off with the pedal down before we begin. Because when I play these two G sharps with a full pedal, all of the sympathetic resonance of the whole instrument is working. If I play just without the pedal, I only get those two notes. I get those two G sharps. Here I get everything swimming. And then change here, of course. Now, I don't want my pedal all the way down. So in the course of these two bars, I'm adjusting my pedal so it's slowly rising up until I find that sweet spot, the magic point, where I've got clarity and resonance. Okay, let me explain what I'm doing with my foot here. So it's down about half the way. And during the second beat of that bar, the second half of the bar, I'm gradually lifting my pedal to the top so that I get a moment of clarity just at the end of the bar. I'm not saying that that's against Chopin's pedal markings, but it's always very vague where we see that asterisk. So the same for the next bar. Now the next bar may be a little fuller. Change here, of course. And what I'm doing in the second half of the last bar that I played, I'm vibrating my pedal, and what that does is it clears the mess, if you will. Otherwise, again, that's too cloudy, but you hear the difference. Now, the ballade, Chopin G minor ballade. I did a little experiment before I set foot out of the house today. I just listened to, I think it was about 5 or 6 pianists, elite pianists on YouTube, playing the opening of this. And these were all great pianists, famous pianists. Every single one of them had a different approach to the pedal. There is no pedal marked by Chopin. So maybe I'll do one long pedal and just gradually raise it as I go through until I'm around here when the pedal is all the way to the top. So if you imagine an elevator gradually climbing, so at this point the dampers join the strings again. Full pedal, pedal down before I start, of course. Now it's higher. Now I'm doing a little bit of finger pedaling here, aka legatissimo. I want a nice overlap there. Little pedal for those repeated notes, so I don't have any gap there. But here, I'm controlling the dampers more by finger than by foot at that point. That's one possible pedaling. Another possible pedaling might be to do a little change here, here, here. And there are other possibilities that I could suggest to you. And I often think how many lesson hours have been spent on the introduction to this piece with the master teacher telling the student it must be like this, and having them slave away over those 3 bars until they get it exactly as the teacher wants it. And then they might go to another teacher who gives them another recipe. So I don't think there's any such thing as a one-size-fits-all interpretation of this opening or anything else. As is clear from listening to great pianists playing. So now the Beethoven Opus 14 No. 2 G Major Sonata. Do I pedal this opening? Here? Maybe, or maybe not, because Beethoven's written finger pedaling there. He's asked us to hold on to the keys. Now, if I can't reach that, I could use a little pedal to join that. Now, I'm continuing with the idea of creating resonance by hand here, just because this is what pianists do, this is what keyboard players do. We don't do this sort of thing. Really dry. I don't really want to use my pedal too much here. It's all right there, but what about here? Not so sure about that. If I pedaled this, the instrument then hangs on to that top note and I don't get the sense of I'm interested in the intervals. 6th, I want to hear clearly, wow, a 9th. Such an array of beautiful intervals. But I don't want that to be dry, so I don't want no resonance. So what I do is just create a little resonance down here, which is perfectly legal. It's perfectly kosher. Composers don't need always to write that in. If you do decide to pedal the chords at the beginning, do not put the pedal down with the chord like that, because as you can hear, I've trapped the F sharp in my pedal. Why? Well, that damper hasn't had a chance to do its job until after I release it. So if I want to pedal, I have to pedal just after I play the G. Now, it's a millisecond after, but that timing is very important. I think what I can do now is to move to the B-flat minor sonata of Chopin, just to show you how often Chopin writes a pedal. This is the first movement. For those of you who want to know, it's bar 65. So the left hand, pedal. Now, there's a little dissonance that's building up, but it's completely forgiven by the presence of the bass note, which Chopin marks with the staccato dot. It doesn't mean that. It means a little stress. Accent, not too much. Then I can float my melody on the top. Now, I'm just going to explain what I'm doing here. I want, in this place, bar, whatever it is, 69, to hold the, to be aware of the bass line. C, sorry. Now, what do I have to do to achieve that? Well, first of all, I have to play the right notes. But I have to hold on to that bass note a tiny moment longer in order for the change of pedal to catch the new pinky note. So what you hear just a bunch of even eighth notes, quavers. But what I'm actually doing is more not ta 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 ta, but ya ta 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 ta. Just holding a little longer. And the ear just perceives that as even, but it means that I can really establish my bass line. Just as we can do legatissimo by touch, right, by just overlapping, I can do the same thing with my pedal by changing late if I want a legatissimo pedal. Here's the C minor prelude of Chopin. Then change, play, then change. What it means is that there's a millisecond where two harmonies blur together. But before the ear has had a chance to object to that, my pedal has changed. But what I do get is a kind of super join between this harmony. Do I need to do that? Not necessarily. I don't really need to put cream on my dessert, but sometimes a little cream is a nice thing. So that just adds a little touch of luxury to the sound. Let me move to a couple of examples that require long pedals, where we hold the pedal down longer than we might think. Now, I have taught the Grieg Nocturne countless times over the years, and I find people resistant to following Grieg's pedal mark. So this is the middle section. Let me just play the little bird song just before. Long pedal. Keep the pedal. I've got my top melody, I've got my middle harmony, and I've got my bottom bass spread out one at a time. Or rather, we have to wait for the bass to the end of the phrase. Now the middle section, long pedals. That's one pedal. Two bars in one pedal. Change, but keep. Keep that pedal. Enjoy that beautiful build-up of sound. You have to trust that that's correct, and my pedal is right down on the floor there. Just let me go on a little bit here. Just to show you a kind of a no-no, do not do this, please. Don't copy this at home. The Rachmaninoff D major prelude. In bar 3, there's a little rest there, an eighth note rest, a quaver rest. It does not mean make silence. Let me show you. So I do not change my pedal. If I were to change my pedal, it would sound terrible. Let me just do. Now I'm going to obey this rest literally, which actually shows a complete misunderstanding of what that rest means. It doesn't mean silence. It means don't play anything on that particular part of the beat, but keep the resonance. Just before I wrap up, I'm going to just suggest a couple of possibilities for pedal in the Scarlatti Sonata in A major, the Baroque music. Do we pedal it? Do we not pedal it? I think it's a little bit like cooking. You don't want your guests to sit down to your lovely dinner and go, salt. But if you don't put salt in, it's not going to taste. So here, I'm going to be using my pedal very discreetly, shallow pedal, and very late actually. Certainly do not pedal through that. Then pedal. Now I'm going to let my left pedal come in. But I'm not playing softly, I'm just wanting the color change. So a little bit of left pedal. It's wonderful for just changing the color. Now the left pedal, you know, when you think about it, a lot of piano teachers tell students that you have to learn to play softly by hand, so don't use the left pedal. It's perfectly true we need to play softly by hand, but the left pedal is actually not really specifically for playing softly, it's more for changing the quality of the sound. So if I take us to the Romance in F sharp by Schumann, it has a repeat. So I could, if I wanted to, change the color of the repeat by adding my left pedal. So here's without the left pedal beginning. Now with the left pedal. But I'm not playing softly, my right thumb is really quite strong. So what I did on the repeat is I added my left pedal and I changed the voicing so that I'm focusing more on my right thumb. So this is first time through. These two notes fairly even, a little bit more on the top, but on the repeat, much more right thumb. As a possible lighting for that repeat. Again, this is entirely optional, we do not have to do. Just one thing I could leave you with. Rachmaninoff's C sharp minor prelude, probably everybody's played that at the advanced level. So what did I do there? I made a mistake by changing my pedal as I played the first note. A lot of people do this. They might start with the pedal down, but then they do change. There's nothing to clear. Do not change your pedal. Have the pedal down. Change here, of course, and here. Now I'm going to put my left pedal down for the chords. I can do that better. But lift the left pedal here, down again. Can you hear there? I've got two different qualities of sound, something a little bit more present and something on another planet, the chords. It's not mandatory to do that, it's an option. So a lot of the time the composers don't mark in when we use the left pedal, and it's up to us to use it. Every single piano in the universe has a left pedal. It's there to be used. It's there to be used discreetly, or it's there to be used wisely, not to be relied on just to control the sound. So I hope that's given you a few ideas, and try them out, experiment a little bit. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you the next time.